you're watching Marvel Live from New York Comic Con 2017. I'm Lorraine Singh.
I'm Ryan Panagos, and this is Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah. One of my faves.
Yeah.
Hi, Chip.
The Z-Man.
The Z-Man. You stole that from me. You son of-
It was too good.
Aww. Now, for you guys at home, if you don't know Chip, now you do. He's a writer for Marvel Comics. You're working on Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man, and I just wanna get into it.
I'm in the middle.
Are you prepared for that?
Like,
I'm sorry, but Peter is dating a comedian.
Casually. Peter, like me, very afraid of commitment. Yeah, he's met a woman, but he's met her as Spider-Man, and she's a stand-up comedian that just moved to New York, and she doesn't know anyone. Spider-Man saves her life, and she's like, "You're like literally the only good person I've met since I've been here." No offense to New York. I'm sure a lot of people are quite nice in New York.
There are a couple of them here.
I'm a New Yorker.
Oh, this got real awkward. So yeah, like, you know, they arranged to kind of go on a coffee date, but, you know, it's Spider-Man and this woman, Rebecca. But I think the key difference between her and perhaps previous love interest is she does not want to get deeply involved here because hanging out with Spider-Man doesn't usually end well.
Also, comedians, kind of difficult.
Why are you looking at me?
I have no idea.
In the eye. Well, this is happening. I have no vested interest in this other than I'm a comedian and I love Peter Parker. Anyways, that's fine. I'm just, you know, for future thought.
Yeah, so I'm portraying her as a very intelligent comedian.
Still kind of weird,
yeah,
right?
Playing against type. It's playing against type a little bit, but...
I don't like this.
One of the characters that I love that you've introduced is the Mason brother, who is the opposite of classic Phineas Mason, who is the Tinkerer. Yeah. And we've got this cool, like, it just made sense. And you used Uatu, brought him in, and it was this cool thing. Was that idea yours? Did that come from editorial? How did that spin up?
That was 100% me. Boom.
Yeah. Z-Man strikes again.
Yeah, because the storyline has kind of been revolving around Peter Parker and his kind of sister, maybe sister, not sister, Teresa, from a Spider-Man graphic novel called Family Business from a few years ago. And so I was wanted to explore kind of sibling relationships. And the idea that the Tinkerer might have an opposite to him, that's his brother who helps out superheroes, seemed like a good idea, and I feel it kind of works as a character.
You know, that actually brings me to something which that whole book is just peppered with, like, hey, this is a reference to this, and hey, this is a reference to this.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea, like, how deep into the comic book world you were. Is this just your chance to, like, pull every fun story?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like, I think 95% of people who are writing Marvel books like have a deep history with Marvel.
Sure.
And the trick with a book like this is we want to make it new reader friendly, bring you on board, but part of the fun of Marvel Universe comics is the history of it and referencing things that have happened in past issues. You know, so I'm trying to make it as clear as possible. Like, I don't want to confuse readers, but I want to show them, like, hey, if you like this, you need to go check out that, because, you know, there's like so many great Spider-Man comics out there currently being published and in the history of the titles. So, yeah.
Do you have a favorite all-time Spider-Man story?
It's tricky. There's a ton of, like, kind of runs that I like, but there's one standout, which is a Spider-Man story from, I'd say, maybe 87, 88.
Okay.
Where it's him versus Firelord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just like a bonker story.
Was that during Acts of Vengeance?
No. This was far before. It's like Firelord basically comes to New York and, you know, runs afoul of Spider-Man, and then he's a Herald of Galactus, and he's like cosmic level, and he's basically chasing Spider-Man through New York trying to murder him. And it just gets getting bigger and bigger. It involves the city in a way.
Doesn't it just, like, he wrecks the whole city basically?
Well, Spider-Man just keeps, like, trying to trick him, so he, like, gets him into, like, a building that's about to be demolished, and he convinces these, like, New York construction guys to demolish the building on this guy. And he just, you know, gets out, chases Spider-Man again, and then, you know, he lures him to a gas station, and, like, Firelord fires at the gas station. It just explodes. It takes it a block, and he's still standing. And it's just the final beat of Spider-Man just being like, "I've had it," and he just, like, lays into him, and Firelord can't get a beat on him, and he, like, punches him out just as the Avengers are showing up. And the Avengers are like, "Did you just do this?" It's like, "Yeah, I got kind of angry." Like, whoa, Spider-Man's like some level. So the fact that the story is about, like, New York because it's New Yorkers helping him and kind of showcasing Spider-Man saving lives and trying to save himself and just rising to this crazy challenge. Like, there's something just very specific about that issue I love.
Yeah, it makes me think of the Juggernaut issue, you know, him versus Juggernaut, and like lifting up the gears from the early Spider-Man stuff that inspired Homecoming, and like those ways that Spidey has to overcome something that he probably, you would think he shouldn't or couldn't.
Yeah, I directly referenced that Gears one. I think it was like Spider-Man 32 or something like that, the Ditko one. I referenced that in like issue 5, like he's trapped under rubble and he's just got to get out. And like, I love those moments so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I have a question about continuity.
Oh,
I know, but oh, sorry, Ryan. So he exists in the modern day, but it is for new readers. So where do you consider him landing in the continuity?
I like this.
You like this?
Of Marvel U?
Yeah, like the 616 in the world of Marvel.
Yeah, he's in it, and we kind of have like a pre-post Secret Empire thing, like the switch over from 6 to 7, or 5 to 6 is pre-Secret Empire and post-Secret Empire. So there's stuff in there that is like referencing other things, and afterwards, like, we tie in a lot more heavily to like kind of Amazing Spider-Man going forward. So
yeah, a lot of changes for Peter in this time period right now.
Yeah, it's in continuity. We just we dial back some of the references, like, you know, Peter running his company, Parker Industries. So we don't really touch on that too much, because going from watching Spider-Man in the movie and then all of a sudden he's like, you know, running this company, we want to kind of downplay that and kind of play up more of the kind of the fun classic stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Another book we want to talk about is Marvel 2-in-1. Yeah. You've got Johnny Storm, Ben Grimm right there. Who's on art on that book?
Jim Chung.
Mr. Jim Chung.
Oh, beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
That's got to be fun.
Yeah, like whenever I'm feeling down, I just like pull out my phone, I look at one of the pages he sends, and I'm just like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Now you're an artist also. I mean, how has it been working with other artists?
At first it was weird, because the first time I'd written a script for somebody else was for Joe Quinones on Howard the Duck. And so what he was delivering was not what I would have done. And I was like, what? This isn't what I thought it was going to be? What's going on? Then I looked at it a bit longer. I'm like, oh, this is better. And then like all of a sudden I felt like really terrible as an artist. I've had to like kind of let that go. I try to not visualize the script too much when I'm writing it.
So did your scripts change as you started to put them together with either starting with artists or different artists?
Yeah. I mean, you should treat every artist as their own person. I mean, I feel artists are people. Some people don't.
Jury's out.
But yeah, like going from Joe on that to Chris Anka on Star-Lord, and, you know, Adam on Spider-Man. Like, they're all very different artists with different skill sets, and some of them you want to spell some things out a bit more to kind of nail a thing. Some you just know they do a specific thing well, so you just let them go. Like in Star-Lord, like Chris Anka draws shirtless men quite well.
It is one of my favorite things. Like Chris, he draws butts, he draws abs, he draws everything really well. But like, man, when he
draws them hot dudes.
Yeah.
His only condition was he wanted Peter to lose his shirt in every issue. That was a legitimate email.
He's my favorite.
All right, we're doing this.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
Yeah, I loved Star-Lord. I mean, I've told you,
that was a ton
I love
of
that
fun.
book. That was really good. What do we expect in 2-in-1? Like, who are they going to be facing? Who do we see in the book?
Yeah, so it's all about the kind of the aftermath of Secret Wars and the Richards family being lost and presumed dead. And so it's about Ben and Johnny kind of overcoming grief together and then trying to figure out if they're actually still out there. So Doom gets involved, and it becomes a bit of an adventure into the multiverse.
I love that. Yeah, awesome. and the Richards we know are exploring the multiverse, so a lot of fun stuff to come. Chip, where are fans going to find you on social media?
Who cares? Social media, I don't know.
Fantastic.
At google.com.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Bing me.